YouTube, what's up? What's up? What's happening? Straight to the point. Sports and entertainment. It don't stop. The grind don't stop. Want y'all to hit that like button, sub to the channel if you're not a member, and also hit the notifications so that you're able to get all of my content as well as all of my videos. And make sure you share this too, all right? Share it, please. I want it to be heard. I'll wait for a few of y'all to get up in here, and then you know how I do. Brown Sugar, what's up? See you in here, Queen. Hope you're doing all right. The lovely Brown Sugar is up in here. The Lioness is up in here. Hope everybody's feeling all right tonight. I know that I am. Want to give a shout out to the whole entire Lions Den, both basketball as well as boxing community. We are definitely talking about some hoops right now. We're talking about a little bit of hip hop. Talking about both of them. I also want to tell y'all too, if you happen to listen to this or play this back, and I'm gonna tell a couple of people when they get in here too that still doing some things to the channel. Right now it's a little bit shaky, but just give me a little bit of time. Time is of the essence. Okay, Rome wasn't built in a day, and sometimes you got to tear some shit down in order to build some shit back up. Okay, so just bear with me. Oh yeah. Definitely got to do that, baby. Definitely got to do that. Definitely got to do that. Well, let's go ahead and we'll dive into this right now. You know, and if you make it in late, go ahead and play it back. You know how I do. Now, of course, you know what's trending right now is a guy by the name of I'm_done_wit_the_90's. Shout out to him. He's trending everywhere right now, on TikTok, on Twitter or X, and of course IG as well. I wanted to talk about this because I kind of talked about it in my other video, the 80s versus the 90s and everything. And like I said, man, I've always been of the notion that the 80s was way better than the 90s, okay? Simply because of the parity involved, and it was a little bit more competitive, and it wasn't just one player dominating everything. You know, there was a dog fight between about 3-4 teams, okay, pretty much, when we talk about the 80s. Right now I want to focus my attention on who everybody considers, well, a lot of people consider the greatest of all time, MJ, Michael Jordan, his airness. You know the man. And if you're living under a rock, I feel sorry for you, okay? But MJ, man. Now, he came with the post, okay? And he has a little, a lot of posts with Jordan about his flaws on the court and everything. All right, and one of the flaws that he pointed out was the fact that Jordan could not go left, okay? There were many coaches that tried that theory on MJ. Okay, the great Chuck Daly used to try it. Of course, Pat Riley tried it with the New York Knicks, and of course the Celtics did too. And they even did it to him, back in college, and with his flaw being ball handling. Okay, and I'll talk about that in a whole separate video. Okay, but I just want to focus my attention on Jordan going left. Jordan, he did have his tendencies, but he could drive left. Okay, now with him going left in terms of dribbling the ball all the way down the floor left, like I said, that's a whole nother video, that's a whole nother topic, and we'll dive into that. But Jordan could go left. As a matter of fact, he did work on going left. Okay, and he could actually finish with either hand. Okay, for them to sit there and say that Jordan could not finish with either hand, you obviously didn't pay attention to Michael Jordan. Okay, didn't grow up watching him, or you just have extreme hate for him. Now, there is no doubt in my mind, and also from watching Jordan, that he did have his weaknesses. Now, if people want to sit up here and say, oh yeah, the man had no weaknesses, that's not true. Okay, that's not true. Jordan did have, his flaws. Okay, it wasn't out of this world and everything, but he did have some flaws. But the great thing about Michael Jordan is the fact that he was able to work on them, and even if he couldn't fully correct whatever flaw that he had, he did his best to master them as best as he could. Kenny Smith had actually talked about this, and going left, it would have been difficult for him at times. Okay, but like I said, he had worked on that part of his game to where he could actually go left. If you go pull up various clips, various films of him going left, you'll see him going left. He could pull up going left. He could go in and dribble drive penetration and get into the rack going left. But I think that the thing that they want to do, and they want to sit up here, is compare. Obviously, they want to compare like a guy like LeBron, who actually LeBron struggles with going left. LeBron does have good handles and everything, and he's able to get to the rack. He does finish with either hand and stuff, but he struggled with going left. Every player, you said all humans have flaws. Yeah, exactly. So this topic right here, I think it's just so. I think it's a weak argument. Saying that okay, Jordan doesn't go left, and that automatically makes you done with the 90s and all of this other stuff, because each player has their various flaws. Okay, it doesn't make that player any much more because of their flaw. That lessens the them being superior than the other. Okay, now if you notice, a lot of times when Jordan was okay, I think one of the clips that he had was when he focused on the Pistons. They obviously had Jordan. They had his okay. Whenever he ran into a defensive player like a Joe Dumars knew his tendencies. I mean, and that's the one clip that he focused on. Now Jordan still lit him up, but he struggled doing it. Because they were going to try their best to wear him down, get him to the line, and they wanted to focus their attention on Jordan shooting the ball, wearing himself down, because they knew that his other teammates, by wearing Jordan down, it was actually, that's what they wanted. They wanted to, for him to, try to be out of gas, which, sometimes, he would be, kind of gassed from playing both ends of the floor and also shooting and giving an offensive outpour. And then you had the guys that weren't really experienced on there, and it was making him all out frustrated. That's what their plan was. That's what he wanted to do. That's what the Pistons wanted to do. And so what they would try to do with Chuck Daly, and Chuck Daly was a master at it, okay? Now, I know they're going to talk about him getting beat up and all this other stuff, which, I didn't want them, snatching him out of the air and all of that other stuff. But when we talk about a guy like Joe Dumars, his defense was actually the best defense that you could have played on a guy like Jordan with trying to do excessive fouling on him, which is what the notion was that all the Pistons did, but that's certainly not true. Because Joe Dumars played pretty physical defense without trying to foul him and everything. Now, it was like, other guys on the team like Lambeer and, Rodman and some of those other guys that would intentionally do that. But to get back to Jordan, this guy would work on his weaknesses. He would work on his weaknesses, and he would also do everything that he could to try to prove everybody wrong. That was the competitiveness of him, okay? And I'm not trying to get into a thing where I'm comparing, the 90s to this generation or anything like that. But I mean, it has to be done though, okay? Listen, back then there was no excuse making, there was no crying, there was no bickering, there was no whining, none of that other stuff. If somebody told you that you could not do something, 9 times out of 10, what you did is you went back into the lab and you did everything that you could to get better. You pipe down, you get focused. Now, of course, with social media dominating everything, everybody wants to show everything that they're in the gym and that they're getting better and that they're doing this and that they're doing that and all of this other stuff. Well, back then, you just, 9 times out of 10, unless you had a video camera or, a camcorder recording something, and then or they reported it on the news or something, 9 times out of 10, or you saw it in the newspaper, 9 times out of 10, you weren't going to know about it, and then they were going to come back and they were going to hit you with the okie doke. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's not to say that today, sweetie, that they're not competing, because like I said, man, I appreciate all areas of basketball. That's why I can talk to pretty much anyone about the game of basketball in terms of, the ages right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I still pay attention to what's going on. I have to pay attention because I have my son playing basketball. I pay attention to what's going on in the high school, what's up and coming, because everything evolves, everything is different. I pay attention to college, and of course I pay attention to what's going on in the pros. And is it different from back then? Absolutely, it is. But I try to find some sort of appreciation for what's going on. That's not to say that I can't criticize some things that I see wrong with the game, okay? But everybody just bases one clip of Jordan getting stripped. Y'all hit the like button when y'all come in here, all right? Y'all hit that like button. Everybody wants to base one clip of Jordan getting getting stripped by Joe Dumars, and then automatically that says, oh, okay, well, Jordan, that pretty much, they have that in their mind to where, okay, we're done. We're done watching Jordan. This guy's better than Jordan. That guy's better than Jordan, and everything. You know, when you can't base one clip or one play. Oh, you have to really go and film and look at it and really study, and then come with a better analysis than that. But you just seeing the one play. But what about the good things? Okay, because you got to look at the good as well as the bad. You can't just always try to pinpoint the bad on everything. Yeah, it is. It is. But that's people. That's just people. In general, that's this generation. I never go back in the days and look at. Now I'll look at a guy like Bob Cousy, because JJ Redick will say, oh yeah, well, he played against plumbers and he played against cab drivers and all of this other stuff. But I'll go back and I'll look at a guy like Bob Cousy, and I'll be like, wow, he really dribbled the ball a lot. You know what I'm saying? I'll say he really dribbled the ball a lot. But nevertheless, for that time, he was probably still a good player. I don't try to look at, okay, one clip of that guy getting blocked, or that guy getting stripped, or the ball getting stolen from him, or his mishaps on the floor, and automatically be like, oh nah, he's trash, he's garbage. Because you got to be able to look at the whole entire game, because you never know, he probably came through at the end of the game. Like, if you look at a guy like, if you paid attention to a guy like a Manu Ginobili, okay, I'm just giving an example of a player. If you paid attention to a guy like Manu Ginobili, okay, in the first beginning of the game, you're probably gonna be like, man, this guy, I can't even watch this guy, or whatever. So some of the clips that you're gonna see, you're gonna be like, wow, this guy, he made a lot of mistakes. Sometimes he made some boneheaded plays. He shot some shots that he shouldn't have shot. But then in the end of the game, you'll find out that, wow, this guy, Manu Ginobili, was really something, especially at the end of the game, the plays that he made down the stretch. But a lot of people don't have that type of patience. They don't have that type of patience. The attention span of this society is so short. Like, if they don't see something great within about 5 to 10 seconds, you're automatically being judged right then and there. They're like, okay, well, nah. They'll see Jordan getting stripped, or they'll see him getting the ball stolen from him, and then they'll automatically in their mind say that, Jordan, he was weak at this, or he was weak at that. Okay, when there are many players that have had flaws. There's been players that have got blocked. There have been players that have been dunked on. There have been players that have made stupid decisions on the floor. And some of those happen to be great players. You said he also made points. Well, yeah, exactly. Manu does. Manu Ginobili does. He always makes points, when it matters. That's what you appreciate about him. And he also did it on the defensive end too as well. And so if you look at a guy like Manu Ginobili, and then you're looking at clips or something like that, you're gonna see your highlights and stuff like that. But you might run through the game and you might be like, wow, this guy, he's not doing much or whatever. But then down the stretch of the game, then you'll see that Manu Ginobili, he usually comes through in the end, and you'll be like, wow, he ended up, winning the game for us or something like that. And it's also the same thing with Jordan too. Jordan has had his struggles now, especially. I talk about it all the time, especially, I go back to that 96 series with the Supersonics. Jordan he did not shoot particularly well. But it was a grinded out game. There have been plenty of times when Kobe, you felt like he was going to shoot himself and his team out of the game, and he would come through in the end. Right, exactly. Yeah, about him. Yeah, that's what you have to appreciate about them, because a lot of times these people get stuck on just one thing, and then automatically they generalize everything about a player, such as Michael Jordan. And look, I'm not offended if a person says, "Hey, I'm not a Jordan fan. I can't stand Jordan or anything like that." That really doesn't move me. That's not gonna shock me and be like, "Oh wow, I can't believe you said that," or anything like that. You're entitled to your opinion, but I am gonna want to know. Okay, well, what was the reason? What's your reasoning behind not liking, a particular player or something like that? And if you tell me, well, I saw on IG, da 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 da, well, okay, that's not sitting down and actually watching the game. That's not actually sitting down and watching film and studying and breaking down each possession. You're generalizing it off of clips. Some of these guys are putting this stuff together just for clicks, views, and likes and stuff like that. And then you're not understanding that you're sitting there making a whole generalization about one player off of just one play or just a couple of bad plays that you have seen from him. That makes no sense. I don't understand how anyone they never met before. Right, exactly. Exactly. But you have crazy people out there. You got crazy people. I mean, even when they say that, that Jordan's an asshole and all this other stuff, actually there are some people out there that say that Jordan is actually, a cool person. You know what I'm saying? Now me, I've heard a lot of negative stuff about him. You know what I'm saying? That's just what I heard, you know. But then you have some people out there that, that might think differently. You know what I'm saying? They said the same thing about Kobe. They say Kobe was like not, I mean, he wasn't like on Jordan's level or nothing like that, but, people would say that stuff about him. But until you have met that person, hell, man, shoot, I tried to shake Charles Barkley's hand one time. You said, damn nut rags. You and them nut rags. You and them nut rags. Nah, but I mean that was my whole thing. I'm really just I'm laughing at the fact that people they'll say that they're done with the 90's or they're done with the 80's, and they base it off of just a couple of plays, off of a game in which Michael Jordan was probably struggling, or another player, because it's not just Michael Jordan. He breaks down everybody You know, I think he was talking about Charles Barkley, you know, one time, and they'd be like, man, look at Barkley and stuff like that. Look, players are gonna make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Those guys are not robots. I've said time and time again. This isn't a video game. This ain't 2K or none of that stuff. That was actually real basketball that they played back then. But people they wanna see video game like shit. That's why, you know, a lot of people feel like the game is watered down. But I'm gonna talk about Sexy Red right now, and I'm gonna talk about GLORILLA. Okay, now I got a lot of people that are really not really feeling GLORILLA right now. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people say that Sexy Red is the better artist. And right now, at this stage of the game right now, yeah, Sexy Red, she might have the, you know, the popularity in terms of, you know, like social media, stuff like that. But I'm talking about talent-wise. Talent-wise, if we're going like just overall talent, even, you know, the whole, you know, the look and the drip and everything, then you got to go with GLORILLA, because GLORILLA is able to not only rap about. See, Sexy Red is starting to be kind of one dimensional. You know what I'm saying? It don't take nothing away from her talent or anything, but I just think that GLORILLA right now, she's getting to that point now where she could jump on any song. Not quite yet, but she's gonna get to that point in her career where, like, she's like Cardi B or like Megan Thee Stallion, and she could jump on any song and make it blow. That's the point that she's getting at. Like, you know, that's why I put that short up earlier with, you know, LeBron dancing to GLORILLA. Listen, people don't know that when LeBron does something like that to a song, it instantly blows. Because look at, nobody knew. Well, there was a couple people that knew who T Grizzly was, you know, and when he had that song, boom 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 boom, hit the rolling, you know, I forgot what song that was. Oh yeah, they prayed on my downfalls. That song with T Grizzly. Nobody knew about that song until LeBron started singing it or whatever, and then after that, then it got more clicks, got more views, and then people started playing it more. And as you see, T Grizzly gave LeBron his just due for making this song blow. Well, GLORILLA, she was kind of doing the same thing. She was giving LeBron, you know, his just due for making that song blow. And now she's starting to kind of align herself with, you know, being in that major, because let's just be honest, they were looking at GLORILLA as kind of like, okay, yeah, you know, Ratchet and all this other stuff, she'll never catapult being at that top like Cardi B. But they got to understand that Cardi B and her, they're related. They're related, and so, you know, Cardi B is going to be feeding her the game, and that's why I have GLORILLA next in line. She's going to eventually pass Megan Thee Stallion. To me, right now is okay. It's Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, and GLORILLA. Some people have Sexy Red, some people got Lotto or whatever, but Glorilla's a little bit more consistent. I think she's consistent and she's more, more persistent too. You know, and then she has the overall. I think that Sexy Red, she's gonna be. She's not really as she can't really do as much as Glorilla. I think Glorilla can do so many things with her talent. You know what I'm saying? I could actually see Glorilla, being, doing acting, and she could just do so many other things. Whereas with Sexy Red, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on her bag or anything like that. But what can you do besides talking about how pink your WAP is, and how brown your booty hole is? You know what I'm saying? Like, can you talk about more than that? Because I've actually listened to Glorilla. She talks about more than those things. Don't get me wrong. She is, going to be a little nasty. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, that's what sells. And everybody, talks about stuff like that. They're like, okay, well, why is she talking like this? Why is she talking like that? And stuff like that. Unfortunately, that's what sells. Now, I appreciate a woman that's gonna, and I'm talking about in hip hop, where she's really actually gonna start to try to spit them bars. And Glorilla, I noticed that she really tried to do that instead of just talking about, her body or something like that. It does get repetitive, man. So yeah, I got Glorilla on top of say as the better artist. You know, but anybody can. It right now it's kind of up for grabs. Anybody can get it right now in terms of being that queen right now of hip hop. Because Cardi B, she's starting to get a little older. I'm not saying that she, in her 40s, she about to be 40 or Nicki's age or none of that other stuff. But we have to understand that she is a mom, and uh, you know, you're gonna get to an age where your kids are really gonna start paying attention to what you're doing, and they're gonna question you. And a woman is more. She pays attention to that stuff more than a man. A man usually will. About like, okay, well, I'm rapping about this, I'm rapping about that, and I'm being this way, I'm being like that. Like, she already, I think, came out on record and said that she don't want her child listening to that sort of thing. So I think that she's in kind of that place right now. She's struggling with that place, but it's always gonna be out there regardless, because it's always everything has been uploaded, recorded. Ain't nothing you could do to take any of that away. They're always gonna play it. It's always gonna be on some sort of outlet where you could download it or pull it up and stuff. And who knows how it's gonna be when her child gets older. So I think she's in that place right now. And to be honest with you, I think Nicki should just go ahead. When I'm talking about Nicki Minaj now, I think that her trying to go back at Megan Thee Stallion and everything, I just think that she should just go ahead and just give up rap. I'm just being honest. She, once you hit a certain age, you got to be like, look, I'm gonna just stay in my lane. I'm not gonna try to sit there, and I'm not trying to go back and forth with somebody who clearly is better than me at this stage of the game or whatever. She doesn't want to admit that, but it is. So I just think that she should just go ahead. She's made enough money. Yeah, she didn't get a Grammy or anything like that, but she's made enough money out of hip hop, and she's gonna continue to make a lot of money. She's gonna always have a residual. So just go ahead, go sit your ass down somewhere. Go sit down somewhere. Go take your ball and go ahead and go home. You know what I mean? Like let some of these other young girls, go ahead and come up. You know what I'm saying? And then once you have a family and stuff like that, you got husband and stuff like that. Okay, now you got to get to a point where, okay, it's time for you to start nurturing and all that other stuff. That's not to say that you still can't go out, party, have a good time and stuff like that. But in terms of you putting out this stuff, what are you going to rap about going forward is my thing. There's only so much that you can rap about, and you got to do it in stages. Okay, now you have a family, you got onlookers, people that are looking at you now. So when they play that song at a family reunion and you talking about, my anaconda and all this other stuff, but you have a child and you have everything like that, then they're going to be like, okay, now what is this? And that's, listen, that's not to say that you can't do that when you were young. Okay, you were in that place. You were trying your best to, get that bag or whatever. But you also have to realize that, okay, going forward, now that you have that kid or whatever, now that you have that daughter, that son or whatever, now you have to understand that now what you're making is going to mean everything, especially that stuff that's been recorded. They're always going to be able to go back into the archive. Always. But I think, like I said, I think both of them are getting back to Sexy Red and GLORILLA. I think that both of them are really talented. I got to see how Sexy Red is she going to continue the momentum that she had though when being that she. Because I know she was, going through the whole postpartum thing and stuff, Is she going to be able to continue that momentum that she once had? Or is she just going to go ahead and invest that money and just go ahead and create a new lane? Or invest in something besides rap? Because if it don't profit, then you got to stop it. But I like both artists. I think that that GLORILLA right now, she's hands down the more superior talent. Some people may disagree. But y'all let me know what you think. Just wanted to chat with y'all just for a little bit. Thank y'all for pulling up. Make sure y'all like the video, share it, subscribe, hit the notifications so that you are notified. Turning it straight to the point, sports and entertainment. I'll get at y'all later.